Alright, hey guys, what's up? This is kind of a different video from usual. Instead of being scripted, I am being fearless and not being scripted because yesterday, or at least at the time we're recording this, the Sonic movie trailer and the Sonic Frontiers trailer dropped at the Game Awards. I don't care about the Game Awards though, I just like Sonic the Hedgehog. That may have not been known here, but yes, I am a Sonic fan, which means I may be also a loser at the same time. And when I say we, that's because I'm not alone today. Get over here, introduce yourself.
Bro, you kidnapped me, dude. Like, what the fuck?
Bro, that ain't my fault. Okay, good to go.
Yo, what's up, everybody? My name's TevyBear. I am one of ED's good friends. I do stuff on the internet, I guess. I'm also one of those lame people that likes to watch Sonic the Hedgehog and play Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah, and watch Sonic. We did last night because.
Oh yes,
wow.
We did.
Yeah, I think last night was like some of the biggest news we've gone for Sonic in a long time, even with that Sonic Central video direct or whatever, because now we actually got our first official trailer for the movie and for the game, and we're probably gonna talk about the movie first because I mean they showed off that trailer first. So Tevy, what is your just first impressions going into this Sonic movie 2?
So after because we had Sonic the Hedgehog 1 coming out early 2020. And initial impressions were I really liked the general feel and such of the movie. My only big thing, and I think this is something that a lot of people have brought up since the movie's been out, is that it felt more like a movie with Sonic in it rather than a Sonic movie. Which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but at the same time, you look at so many of these other properties that go from cartoon to live action, they do the exact same thing, and then Sonic goes and does it. But now with Sonic the Hedgehog 2, this trailer has given me hope that they are making this an actual Sonic movie, and just everything just looks really clean and stuff and everything with that. So we'll get into the bigger details as we go through this discussion, but hopes are high, definitely.
Yeah, I did enjoy the first Sonic movie, and I do kind of remember it as the last movie I watched before the pandemic. And I think one of my favorite experiences with that movie was about to go into the theater, and then I see these group of jackasses wearing the Sonic masks of the original design, and then I just took a screenshot of them, and they're all doing stupid poses too. I did not expect that to happen, and it's God, remember when everyone was scared of the Sonic movie a few years ago?
Oh my gosh, I remember when the first poster got dropped by Paramount and everybody was thinking oh my god, oh no, this is gonna be awful.
Yeah,
because I think, correct me if I'm wrong, the first poster was him doing this kneeling down pose and a running pose.
Yeah, it's about to run, and we get to see how the humanoid anatomy he had, and
yeah, and because we could only see his figure, we couldn't really see his face, and so people were thinking, okay, are they just gonna make his face look like an actual hedgehog, or are they still gonna try to be somewhat faithful? And then the first trailer drops, and we're oh god, this is so much worse than we thought.
Yeah. And then seeing Tyson Hess pick up the design and refine it, and it's wow, watching Sonic in this movie is actually really fun. And I think that still holds true, as soon as we start watching the trailer for this movie, it's wow, Sonic is just a cool guy. They replicate they definitely call back to the opening of Sonic Adventure with that shot of him on the building, and then seeing crime happening at the bottom, and he's well, time to do shit now.
Yeah, there are so many references in this trailer to not only the earlier Genesis games, but also to the adventure titles. There are soldiers in one of the scenes that are gun soldiers. They have or at least this universe's version of the gun logo. And they're still continuing the importance of the owls in this movie franchise, which was a big thing that was hinted in at during the Genesis games. And just their whole attention to detail and wanting to stay true to the original source material is what really makes me appreciate the studio and what direction they're going in with this movie, because they definitely did a 180, I think, with since the first initial tease.
Yeah, and
for the first movie.
yeah, and I think beginning the trailer, it is actually really fun watching Sonic like try to be this what's it called, like vigilante guy using his powers to like pretty much take on crime. Because I feel like for this version of the character that fits pretty well. Because he's kind of like, it's weird. My brain, because Ben Schwartz is voicing Sonic, I associate him with like all his other characters he's voiced, like Leonardo from Rise of TMNT, and like specifically like Dewey from DuckTales.
Dewey
like,
from DuckTales is the big one.
Yeah, that's the big one. Like, I hear Dewey, especially because I've been watching a lot of DuckTales recently. And it's like, for those kind of characters, they're basically kind of like, they love the attention. So, like, it makes sense for also, like, as something that applies to this Sonic. It makes sense that he's, like, going out here to stopping crime just because it's, like, a fun thrill for him to do, is feel like this big superhero guy, pretty much.
Yeah, and, like, and it's still somewhat sticking with his source material, with the fact that, like, he wants to help people in need. Yeah, he's cocky, but at the end of the day, he still wants to help people. And in this situation, he can't really help the woodland critters because there aren't really, we're not on South Island, obviously. So him going and helping the people. Are we in was that first part of the trailer? That was San Francisco, right?
It could have been. Yeah, I know it's a city. Like, I don't think it's the same town as like Green Hills.
It's definitely not Green Hills. So I don't know if this is just like San Francisco or if this is like their first introduction of like Station Square, or if they're doing like another city from the universe, from the games, or what.
Could just be like a nameless city that they have at the start.
Yeah. Well, I think they have like that white tower at the beginning. I think that's like an actual U.S. landmark. I just forget. I think it's in Seattle, maybe.
Possibly. Like, there's definitely going to be a lot of like world traveling in this movie compared to the first one, which is more of a standard road trip.
Mm-hmm.
And
I mean, I like what. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but like one of the things that I kind of liked about the first movie, it was like a little like buddy cop movie, which made it like somewhat fun. But I think now that we have the introduction of these other characters, now we can really go full in on what they're trying to do.
Yeah, this feels less the world traveling. It feels less generic anime live action kids movie, and more like an actual like Sonic movie, like traveling all around different locations instead of just going to one place, like driving over there in a car.
Yeah.
And like we could definitely tell like the story for this I was about to say game movie definitely kicks off when Eggman returns back, because like we all knew he was coming back from that Mushroom Hill place.
He came he came home by Christmas. He came home by Christmas.
I guess he did. Or for us it's in April, so I guess it's coming back by April Fools.
I mean, the first trailer dropped before Christmas, so
that is true.
For being technical.
Technically he did come back, but yeah, I guess that makes sense. Yeah. And I love the little call. I love the guy, like I forgot what the assistant's name was, but I love him yelling like he's back, like when I assume Eggman
Agent Stone. I think.
Yeah, Agent Stone. When like he's working at a coffee brewer, like a coffee shop, which fits so well because Eggman complimented him for like his coffee in the first movie.
Yeah, I think from one of the set leaks, that coffee shop, I think it's called the Mean Bean Cafe or something like that.
If it is, that is amazing.
Yeah, and like they're like there's like a mean frappe on the there's like a mean brew and like a mean like there's so much like mean bean shit in that little bit, and I'm like, oh my god, this is amazing. Like you can tell they really love the franchise. And like they are doing their best to like throw in as many hints and nods that they can without being too like over cameo-ish, I guess. Like they're throwing all this stuff in without it feeling like, oh, we're making these references for the sake of making references.
Yeah, definitely. And especially with how like what I assume is the Master Emerald getting introduced, which is probably going to be the big MacGuffin of this whole movie.
Kind of it's kind of weird that they're like going for the Master Emerald first, but at the same time I can kind of understand why they want to go for the Master Emerald first. One, to tie in the boy, and two, probably because they want to focus on one source of power rather than 7 individual ones.
Yeah, it's kind of harder to make a story like a movie about like 7 different collectibles as opposed to just one. because like
Yeah.
definitely more for like longer term stories, unless you're for shit like Dragon Ball, that like actually makes sense. But like
Yeah.
for this movie,
Yeah.
like one movie, it makes more sense to have like a one single source of power, pretty much.
Yeah, and I really, really do love how the Master Emerald looks. Like, it's very accurate. It's very tiny though. Like, it is very tiny.
It's not like it's not overly gigantic, I guess you could say.
Yeah, it's not overly gigantic. So it's about, I want to say it's about a little bit smaller than what it was in like SA2. Cause SA2 was weird because the Master Emerald was small in that game.
No, like it was either as big as Adventure 1 or Knuckles held it in his hand.
Yeah. So like I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what they were trying to go for there, but yeah, I don't know. I think this is a good size for the Master Emerald.
Yeah.
And if they're doing the Master Emerald, that means at some point we got to be getting Chaos, right?
Possibly, but you know what?
At
Also,
some point.
that actually makes me wonder, like, do you think that is how Sonic is going to become Super in this movie?
Is using the Master Emerald?
Do you think they're going to like switch it to that, just have him get the power from the Master Emerald to make things simpler?
I most likely I think that's what they might
like,
try to
do you
go
think
for.
this is the movie where he goes Super?
I don't know. Do you pull the trigger on Super? Well, because I remember in an interview they were originally going to do Supersonic for the first movie, and then they were like, okay, no, let's not pull the trigger on that just yet. So this might be the time where they do it, but they got to pull it off right though, because especially now in this day and age where like Dragon Ball is at the peak of its popularity, a lot of people are going to look at Supersonic and think, oh, that's just a Super Saiyan ripoff. Which it is, to be fair.
Yeah, it is.
But I think it's going to be, if they do it for this movie, it's going to be a challenge, because they need to make it to where, oh, it's not just it's a Sonic version of Super Saiyan, but also still kind of keep it accurate to the games, I guess.
I feel
they
like
got to change it up a little bit.
Yeah,
make it kind of their own thing.
They'll probably get changed a little bit how it works, but I can see like definitely like some super transformation for like the climax of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess we've gone so long without mentioning him. We finally get to see our boy Tails in actual video.
Oh my god,
for this movie.
Okay, first off, he looks so much better than he did in the post-credit scene for the original movie, and I still thought he looked really good at the end of that movie. But I think you were telling me the other day, you or somebody else in our group was telling me like Tyson had like that was like a last-minute decision for them to put Tails in that post-credit scene.
I don't think it was I don't think I did, but it probably was a very late into development that they made Tails.
Yeah. And damn, he looks good. Like he just looks really, really good, and they got the tornado.
Yeah, the tornado. Yeah, I love how they kept that. It's like that's just a thing now.
Yeah. So now my question is, did he build this tornado? Did he steal this tornado? Did he bring this tornado with him? We don't know.
Yeah, just dragged it through the ring.
Yeah, but it has like the little like star logo with the wings on it. It doesn't say Sonic or yet, but I really hope at some point we get those rocket boosters.
Oh yeah,
that'd be sick.
And yeah, that scene where he's working with Sonic, and like, I'm sorry again, like to bring up DuckTales, it's hard for me to hear Sonic and Tails. I hear Tails and Dewey talking to each other. that's just my thing. Like, when it's like one voice actor from the game and then this new voice actor, I'm just like, oh, that's fucking Dewey, bro. He's talking to Tails, man. This is so cool.
Yeah, and like, oh my god, I am really, really happy that Colleen is reprising her role as Tails. Because she was Tails for the post-credit scene, and a lot of us were thinking, oh, they just did that because they needed an actor for Tails. Okay, let's get Colleen. And for the past, like, 2 years, I've been living in constant fear that it was going to be fucking Tom Holland or some other shit.
Yeah, just the joke, Tom Holland, Chris Pratt, one of them voicing the Tails.
Yeah, oh my god, Chris Pratt's Tails, that would be disgusting.
That would actually be pretty gross.
Yeah, but like, I really do appreciate this movie taking that step and having the original voice actor come back as Tails for the movie. I am kind of worried about that though, because on for IGN's trailer they posted like the lead actors, Ben Schwartz, Idris Elba, Jim Carrey. Colleen's not there at all. So
it could just be some issue with giving proper names to like they probably just putting the big names, I guess, first, just because that's how Hollywood likes to work.
Yeah, that's how Hollywood likes to work. But I really hope that Colleen does get the recognition that she deserves.
Yeah, because like this is like one of the only times where like the voice actor from the original like source material actually gets into the Hollywood version, because like that's a big thing where like it's usually always like the big name voice actors. It happened with stuff like that Scooby-Doo movie. It happened with the Mario. It's happening with the Mario movie, and like it did technically happen with Ben Schwartz becoming Sonic.
Yeah.
So it's nice to finally have like a voice from the original be there for the movie.
Yeah. Well, to kind of bounce off of that, and I know I'm kind of going off topic, but J. Jonah Jameson in the original Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies, oh god, what's the actor's name for
J.K. Simmons?
J.K. Simmons, yeah. Was he J. Jonah before then, or did
that was his? I think Spider-Man was his debut as J. Jonah. Someone can correct me, but that's as far as I know.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, the reason I was asking is just because, instances like this are very rare, especially in today's climate of like live action movies for cartoons and now with games, because I think we're gonna start seeing a lot more video game movies within like the next 10 years or so.
Yeah.
Because of how successful movies like Sonic the Hedgehog, Detective Pikachu were, and how successful we know the Mario movie is gonna sell really well.
Yeah, it's gonna do well. People are gonna watch it.
Whether people are gonna like it though, that's a whole nother story. But
oh yeah, that when that time comes.
Yeah.
But
anyway, let's stop talking about the fat fuck. Get back to our boy.
Yeah,
oh my god, I love Tails.
Yes, it's very cute. I do like he's like once again Sonic's little buddy in this movie, and then one thing I still love that maintains in this movie is that Sonic's own cockiness is usually his own foil.
Yeah.
That's always been one of my favorite parts of his character. Like, that's what I love about his cocky attitude is that like it makes it very entertaining, but it's also the reason like he gets into shit as well. Like that was even true in the original movie as well. Like he was taking his time with going to save what were the names? I'm sorry, I forgot the names of the characters. I know them as Donut Lord and Pretzel Lady.
And Pretzel Lady.
Yeah. I'm
sorry. Tom and Maddie. Tom and Maddie.
Okay, yeah.
Are the two.
Those two. Donut Lord and Pretzel Lady. When they're going, I like when Sonic was going to save them. He was taking his sweet ass time because he was slowing down time. But then once Eggman activates, he's like, "Oh shit!" And then he gets fucking blasted by that laser. So
yeah,
and I like stuff like that as well because like he thinks he dodged all the projectiles. He starts laughing, then boom, one gets him. And then also that scene at another bar scene, I guess, is gonna be in this movie. Except now Tails is there, and they're both.
Except now Tails is there. Oh my god! I have been seeing screenshots and fan art of Sonic and Tails in this winter gear, and it is the best thing ever. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, I love the idea of them just having like these cute little disguises as they walk into this bar full of a bunch of dangerous-looking people.
Yeah, and it also kind of gives me hope that, like, because like the big thing another thing I was worried about was that we're introducing Tails, but is Tom still going to be filling that role of being the dominant best friend? And it looks like they're going to be pushing Tom to the side a little bit so that Sonic and Tails can start growing their friendship. And while that's nice, at the same time, I don't want them to just straight up forget about Tom.
What I think is going to happen is that there's going to be like a B plot with those characters happening in the background.
Yeah.
Because like I feel like we're going on Sonic and Tails on their like adventures, and then we're cutting back to some plots that will tie into the main story with like Tom and Maddie. That's her name, right? I didn't mess it up.
Yeah, Maddie.
Yeah, I think some like based on also that like that one little clip of like her talking with her sister as well. Like I think there's probably some like side small plot that's going on with them. That's probably gonna it'll eventually connect.
Most likely, yeah. I think one thing that we forgot to bring up with Dr. Eggman coming back. First of all, I love that they're just embracing the mustache.
Yes, that is Eggman now. That actually looks like Eggman.
This motherfucker is Eggman. All I'm missing is he needs the gut. He just needs the gut.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna put on the weight, but like, I mean, a part of it still feels like Jim Carrey playing Eggman, but at the same time, this is as close. I'll take it at this point. This is actually like he looks like Eggman now, and he's doing his own spin on it, and it's cool.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah, and like I love Jim Carrey in the original film as Robotnik.
He's fun.
And now we have finally entered like Eggman. Like I was so happy when Sonic started calling him Eggman in the first movie, because I thought they were just going to drop that completely. Because United States, everybody knows him as Dr. Robotnik. Not a lot of people know that, like,
I'm pretty sure people call him Eggman nowadays, but like back then he was Robotnik.
Yeah, and a lot of, I think, like, Robotnik was an American name. The original Japanese name was still Dr. Eggman.
Yeah. I like how they slide it into this these movies where it's like it's an insult that Sonic calls him. And that just kind of sticks over time.
Yeah, and then he just by the time we get to where we are now, he just full on embraces his like I'm the goddamn Eggman, man.
Yeah, because I think it also helps that at this point he's basically gone insane.
Yeah,
Or, like, more insane than he already was.
Like, bro, if you got your ass kicked by a sentient blue rat, I think I'd probably go insane too.
Yeah, I think we all would if he ruined my plan of operations. I'd start saying shit like reconnaissance as well.
God, come on, that's hilarious. What's the matter with you?
But also, like, do you think that in terms of how he gets back, like, do you think that Mushroom Planet is actually supposed to be like Mushroom Hill Zone or something like that? And then he finds it, the Master Emerald or something like that?
I think that's kind of what they're going for with this, because I think he's somehow gonna end up on Sonic's world, or his home world, because the scene where he like finds the Master Emerald has like the
owls,
the owl carvings, so most likely Longclaw's race in this timeline are the ones that are like protecting the Master Emeralds, and they could possibly be protecting the Chaos Emeralds too, or they could be like the dominant like species. So I'm not sure, because there's also another point later on in the trailer where it looks like you see the light emanating from like a temple. So like, is that Mystic Ruins? Yeah. You know, like, are they going to bring in Angel Island? Or are they going to be bringing in South Island? Like, are we going to be going back and forth between Earth and Sonic's world? We don't know yet, because this is just the first trailer, and they wanted to get the big parts down first.
Yeah, but one thing we do know they're bringing in, I knew he was going to be like the last big tease for this movie. We got Knuckles, man.
You know, honestly, I didn't think that they were going to drop him in this trailer. I thought that they were going to save him as a surprise reveal for the movie. But I am so glad that they revealed him here. Oh my god. I miss this Knuckles so much.
Yeah, this Knuckles, yeah, because like I figured he was going to be, because they already teased the actor for him and like an image of his fist. So I figured like they're going to save him as like the big end reveal for this trailer, showing him off. And like, oh man, it's so cool. I love how Knuckles is like this threat again. He's like a rival to Sonic now. Like, Eggman is controlling him again, except like they're doing their own adaptation of this now.
Yeah. Absolutely. And oh my god, there was one line read from Knuckles, and it was the greatest thing ever. Like, Idris Elba, I know, is going to fucking kill it in this movie. And he said he wasn't trying to go for a sexy voice for Knuckles. That was a fucking lie.
Yeah, I love how the entire internet just says, okay, you were lying to us.
you were lying. You were lying.
And also, God, that introduction is so cool. I'm just like he's trying to hit them. Sonic's trying to hit him with that dollar store spin dash. And then and then he just blocks it with his hand and then just smashes him to the ground. Like, God, that is what I love about Knuckles, man.
Yeah.
Like, he's got raw strength, man, on his side compared to Sonic.
Yeah. And like, it's kind of weird, because like, because Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles now at this point, like, whenever they like whenever they activate their abilities, they have like this electric lightning that goes around them. For Sonic, it makes sense because her speed and lightning and shit. But for Tails, it activates when he flies, or at least it did in the post-credit scene. And when Knuckles like body slams Sonic into the ground, when he like punches his fists together, the lightning pops up. So I don't know if this is just like, okay, these anthropomorphic creatures whenever they use like their supernatural ability, they just get this lightning that pops up. I don't know what. Either way, though, it's cool as fuck.
Yeah.
Like, it's so cool.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
I assume like that scene as well takes place at like the beginning of the movie, where it's like Sonic believes like, oh, Eggman's back. He's like, he wants my powers again. So like he sent this guy to try and take me down, and then he realizes, oh shit, he doesn't need my powers. He's got Knuckles now.
Oh,
and,
he's got
other goals now. Pretty much, he's like, I had to stop him now.
Yeah. So like, see, I don't know, cause like if he finds the emerald in like this owl place, like would Knuckles still technically be like a guardian of it? Or
possibly. I know he's probably tricking Knuckles in some way. Again,
maybe
that's probably how they're probably doing that, adapting that idea of like Eggman tricking Knuckles into thinking like Sonic's a threat.
Yeah.
And then they're gonna have some clamps where they're both working together.
Oh yeah. I think because we had a couple of set leak photos earlier this year, and we had like the 3 stand-ins for Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles all together. So they're most likely going to be teaming up at the end of this movie.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, like, this design for Knuckles, I think this is probably the best design Knuckles has ever had.
It's the best he's looked in a long time.
Yeah. Like, the reason why I love it so much is because, like, this is the perfect middle ground between the regular series and Boom. Because, like, Knuckles already had a cool character design, but he was about as proportionally close to like Sonic and Tails.
He had the same proportions.
Yeah, you had to believe he was strong, and then Boom just took that and just overdid it. But with this version of Knuckles, like, you can tell he's strong, but he also doesn't look like an abomination.
He doesn't look overly buff or like.
Yeah, he doesn't look. He looks like
he looks like another like anthropomorphic animal like the rest, but he's also like his arms and legs are like thicker as well.
Yeah.
Besides that, like, hey, he's got more strength to him.
And like, oh my god, just the detailing on these models for the anthropomorphic characters is just, oh my god, it is amazing. Like these characters look fan-frickin-tastic, and I saw somebody did an edit trying to give Sonic back his like tan arms. Yeah, like, the blue arms actually work better with this design.
Blue arms actually they know what they were doing with these designs, which is so weird because people were so like, everyone nowadays is so excited to see how these characters look. When back then everyone was freaking mortified, like as I said at the beginning. Yeah,
well, I remember when there was that Sonic like fan movie that attempted to do something like that, and they had like Julia White play Sonic again or something like that.
Yeah, and
they stuck true to the original model. But it still looked awful.
Yeah, probably didn't look right in live action.
Yeah, because like if you try to do designs like that where they're purely cartoony and have like awkward parts of realism, then you're breaking that like uncanny valley sort of thing. Yeah. So with movies like this and Detective Pikachu, you got to be careful in how you design these characters. Yeah. And like these designs hit it on the nail. They're realistic enough to where, like, it's these characters, but you could like look at them and be like, yeah, I could see this being like a real living thing.
Well, honestly, like not like most of the time, but like you feel like they fit well enough into the world now.
They fit well enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. And oh my gosh, I'm just ready for this movie.
Yeah, this movie actually like seems like it's going to be awesome.
Like after we got the second trailer for the original movie, I was like, okay, I'm cautiously optimistic about this. After this trailer, I'm like, oh my god, I'm actually like really, really excited.
Yeah, and like I feel like they definitely are going to tease like a third movie at the end of this one.
Yeah, so that comes we've well, let me see. We've hit most of our big parts. So, like, obviously this movie's gonna end with Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles teaming up, stopping Eggman. So, I don't know, ED. Where do you think they could go for a third movie?
They could. if they're adapting, like if they're combining both kind of like stuff from like Sonic 2 and Sonic 3 into the story of this movie, they could go for something like Sonic CD for the third one and like actually bring in Metal Sonic.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking, is that, like, okay, you know, we got Tails and Knuckles now. Maybe we could do, like, Sonic CD and maybe a little bit of adventure?
Yeah, I mean, they already kind of are introducing adventure, but like maybe
they're at least getting Gun, like, established. Mm-hmm. So that way in Sonic 6 we can see Gun
Sonic
shoot
6,
Maria again.
God. Oh, Jesus. Because, like, I for right now, it feels like they're adapting classics specifically. Classic
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, like they're throwing nods to the adventure games, and they're adding the stuff that they can that, like, makes sense.
Yeah, but
yeah. For the most part, they are sticking with Genesis, and I think that's
calling
kind of the best direction.
they're calling back to like the adventure games or stuff like that in the way, like, because they're also like trying to be more cinematic. So like let's try some set pieces, pretty much, not really the actual story, you know?
Yeah. Like
the story is very much adapting is taking influence from the classic games. Set pieces and such are akin to like adventure, pretty much.
Yeah, and they're hitting that, like, nice middle ground, I think, and like I think fans are going to be really, really happy with this movie when it comes out. I think it's going to do really, really well.
Yeah, this is probably gonna. Yeah, it's just like it's probably gonna be a good movie. Looking forward to watching it. Yeah,
Sonic started the pandemic. I hope he comes back to finish it.
Yeah, I wish, bro. I wish.
Yeah, I wish.
I wish. Bro, look. This is the last thing I watched before the apocalypse hit, bro. Look at that. It was Sonic the Hedgehog.
It all comes back to the blue fuck.
Yes. And that isn't the only thing we got this time for last night, because we got finally had an actual trailer for the new Sonic game, which is, as at least confirmed, Sonic Frontiers.
It's about fucking time, honestly.
I know, yeah. It's like, it's been how many years since Forces?
Forces came out 2017, so at this point it's been
November. It's been 4 years.
It's been 4 years since Forces.
And now we're actually getting a glimpse at what the new Sonic game is going to be.
And holy shit, we got some promising shit.
This is very promising. Like, I think for like the current state of Sonic, I know what's it called. There's been talk about like Sonic is definitely like in a big rut right now, and I think I've been kind of holding my breath just because it's like I think a big part of that is because we've actually had like nothing new for Sonic in terms of games. I mean, besides a few spin-offs.
Yeah, well, we've had a re-release of Sonic Mania with some DLC, and we've had Team Sonic Racing. That's been about it. We had Colors Ultimate too,
but that was just like that was a remaster.
Yeah, it's
a mixed one at that. So
yeah,
like, it was just
mixed remaster, and like I think with because it's weird because like on the one hand, 2017 we had Sonic Mania and that was fantastic, but we also had Forces a couple months later, and yikes. I think since 2013, Sonic's just kind of been back in this rut. I wouldn't say it's another dark age. I don't think we're ever going to have another dark age.
Or like
Sonic.
anything, because I think the difference for like that era is just we're getting a lot of Sonic games, and they were like either very hit or miss, you know?
Yeah.
For this, like what's happened recently is that like we've been getting some really good ones and like some really like mediocre ones, but like they've been very spread apart, you know, like we haven't been getting many main titles.
Yeah.
You know, they aren't rushing them out like before, but that also means when we get like a mediocre one, that stings a lot more for people. It
does. Like. Yeah. Especially because
they're more scarce.
Because like especially when you look at the time gap between Sonic Lost World and Sonic Forces. That was also 4 years. So yeah, you could technically say, well, they spent 4 years developing it. No, they spent 4 years. They spent those couple of years developing the engine. Forces I think was only in development
like as
for
a game, yeah.
Like as an actual game, it was like a year and a half of development.
Like the game was like very short development, and like the fact that like that was like the last game in a while, just like after waiting so long, because like I don't see anyone complaining about wanting a new Mario game after Odyssey, because like everyone's just sort of satisfied with that one.
Yeah.
I mean, I hear rumors for Odyssey too. I mean, you could continue to daydream, but
and like
I don't think anyone's really like saying we need like a new Mario game right now. But right now, people are just like, all right, we need a new Sonic game to like bring things back.
Yeah. And like I think impressions are very high with this new trailer. I think first thing we need to talk about, holy shit, this CGI looks fantastic.
Yes, I love this opening. Like the CGI used in this trailer, it looks so good. Like the animation, Sonic looks. I like the expressions from Sonic. You know, the environments look great.
Yeah, and
what's actually happening on screen is interesting.
Yeah, like it's. I think the CG teaser. I think the CG teaser. One, it's better than the teaser we got back in May. And I think this teaser is also better than the teaser we got for Forces.
It looks way better than the CGI from the Forces teasers. Like,
yeah,
definitely.
And like I don't know if it was just because they like had another studio work on it, because I think they got, from the looks of this, it looks like they got what was the studio called? Bluepoint, I think, that did CG for Sonic for a while.
I think it was Marsa.
But yeah, the CG in this trailer reminds me a lot of Black Knight's CG cutscenes. Like,
yeah,
it's like, it looks like it's kind of animated in a similar way.
Yeah, it's hard to say if it's actually going to that's actually going to be in the game, like because you know, like a lot of CG stuff from Sonic is never actually in the game. It's more for marketing. But it is a good way to start things off. And, and based on like what we saw in the game, the leaks were true, and like this is going to be like an open world kind of Sonic game.
That makes me like, I am very intrigued, but I am also very, very nervous, because like you look at the environments and you look at and you think of the concept of an open world Sonic game, and that just has so much potential and so much promise behind that. And like the environments in this trailer are absolutely gorgeous. Like I think this, if they play their cards right, this is probably going to be the best looking Sonic game since Unleashed.
It has a chance. Yeah, I think it has a chance, especially since they're going for like it kind of reminds me of Unleashed, you know, with the art style, you know.
Yeah, they're going back
the environments.
Yeah, they're going back to a more realistic environment, which I honestly think that's where Sonic shines the best.
It's one of the most impressive for Sonic. Like, I think one of the issues with Forces is that like it was going for like a more blocky aesthetic, more like cartoonish, but it also like it felt uninspired in that way though.
Yeah,
like it was kind of this weird issue. Like it wasn't creative enough to back up that direction, but the actual visuals themselves weren't interesting enough either in terms of like a realistic standpoint, or like a wow factor either. So I was kind of stuck in that in between.
I'd say that problem also started in Lost World too.
Oh yeah, like the blocky architecture,
the blocky like Minecraft trees.
Cause yeah, it's like that was always the issue of just like they wanted to go for like a cartoonish architecture, but like the creativity like wasn't there to be expressed with that, so it just ended up looking bland as a result.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
Like I'm interested in this new art style because it looks like they kind of have to they're kind of abandoning that like green hill aesthetic simply by going for like a realistic looking green landscape pretty much.
Yeah.
And from what I can tell, because I love the name that they gave for the description of this game. It's an open zone Sonic game.
Open zone. I laughed. I laughed when I heard about that. I like, okay, all right, yeah, I see what they're going for here. I think that's really good.
And also based on that idea, I remember like the idea being brought up, if it's like an open zone Sonic game, does that mean like there are like multiple like open world maps like this pretty much? It's like they're not all massive, but they're all like a decent size for you to explore. And then there's like a number of them. Kind
of like I guess kind of like Super Mario Odyssey in that sense.
I guess so. Like Sonic's take on the idea of like a very open world, but also like different worlds that you explore, like each zone.
Yeah, it's like a more open, non-linear, or maybe it's one of those things where it's like, you know, like, yeah, it's an open world, but you're only going to be able to go through each zone one at a time, and once you unlock the next zone, you'll be able to go back to the other one and use, like, new abilities and stuff like that.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I hope there's, like, some new, because it's going to be a different kind of game. I want to look for, like, new stuff Sonic can do in terms of abilities, because he's really been doing, like, the same thing for so long, and, like, since Unleashed, and the only added addition was, like, the Wisps, and they were more like a power-up, and not really, like, a new ability built into Sonic. I mean, we did have the parkour from Lost World, but that felt like had its own issues. Like, I like the idea of Sonic being more acrobatic, but I think the execution was very, like, off in Lost World, simply because, like, the level design as well was not the best either.
Yeah. I think,
and, like now that keep going. Now that it's gonna be open world, I hope, like, they give you abilities that make it, like, fun to, like, move around this world, like, give you new options for speeding around it as well, beyond just being able to do stuff like boost. And I think that's the one thing I'm looking forward to. If it's like it's a big world where you're able to just do, like, a bunch of different ways of going fast, pretty much, and just do your own thing.
Yeah, I think, like, the biggest thing that I'm kind of nervous about with Frontiers is that, yeah, you're gonna have this big open world to explore, but, how is Sonic gonna be playing? How is he gonna move? Is it going to be... Are we gonna have some, like, momentum-based gameplay here? Or are we doing, like, an adventure kind of style? Are you giving us a boost button? How is this gonna work? That's the biggest thing, because it's impressive to have this big open world for Sonic to run around in, but if Sonic himself is not fun to play as, then it just does not work.
Yeah, I think they're definitely going to, like, rehaul his moves. I think he may still have a boost, just based on the CGI opening, like him doing some... I think it's going to work differently, though, than the boost from the boost games, pretty much. Probably some different system for how it works as, like, a way of, like, getting around faster, pretty much.
Well, I remember there was a fan game a while ago, I think Green Hill Paradise 2. That how that worked was that the more speed you built up, you would go into, like, a mock state, which was pretty much you were boosting, but you couldn't activate it with the press of a button. You had to earn that speed.
Yeah, I can see some system like that.
Yeah. I think that would be a perfect system to try to integrate, is, like, achieving a boost state with the speed that Sonic gets.
Yeah, it's like it's like a boost, but you also gotta earn that boost pretty much by, like, building it up, and then once you get it, you start zooming pretty much.
Yeah.
I think it may be something like that.
Yeah. And, like, obviously Sonic's still gonna have, like, his core abilities, like, we're gonna have the homing attack and, like, give him a slide, stomp. Maybe...
You think they're going to give him back the spin dash?
I would be very surprised if they don't give him the spin dash.
Like, if they just keep some sort of boost system instead.
Yeah. Now, question is, do you think they're gonna try to do, like, a 3D drop dash?
That is possible, and I would actually be down with that idea.
I would like them to try that, because I think the drop dash was a Sonic Team idea first, and then they were like, okay, you guys can use it for Mania.
Was it?
I think so. I might be wrong on that, but I think I read an article where they were like, oh yeah, we came up with the idea for the drop dash for Forces, but we told the Mania team about it, and they're like, okay, we'll use it.
Yeah,
either way, though, it's still a really, really nice way of moving around and stuff like that.
Yeah, like, I think, regardless, what's it called? The gameplay, we still know very little about it, but one thing I am glad about, it's something new that Sonic is going to do.
Yeah.
And it's clear that, like, what kind of, like, the concept for how it's going to be new, because, I mean, Lost World was also different, but it was also, like, kind of not at the same time.
Yeah. Well, like, it's weird, because we've had the boost formula since Unleashed, and like, Unleashed, Colors, Generations, they all did really good with the boost formula. Mm-hmm. And then and they all had their own quirks and stuff like that. And then we hop into Lost World, and they're going for, like, a completely new, like, gameplay style that just didn't work. And then Sonic Team was like, okay, let's go back to the boost formula because we know that's what works. Problem is, you had pretty much none of the original people who knew that boost formula come back for the game, and it just just didn't work. So now they're
And it's
just
like
kind of
after
like,
they
well,
peaked-
crap. Now what do we do?
Yeah, and like after they peaked with like Generations, it was like, how do you top that? And like you could tell like they they clearly couldn't like figure out a way to top it, and so it was just kind of like an autopilot with making those stages. And like it's hard to even define Lost World. Like, what do you even define that formula or that gameplay style? Like, it's hard to define it at all.
I call it the parkour formula.
Because like I think you can define like Adventure as like a more 3D platformer, like with that incorporates, you know, Sonic's moveset pretty much from the classics.
Yeah,
right?
like there's
Whose formula is more of like a fast-paced, quick reaction type of gameplay. Lost World was a 3D platformer that you had parkour, but also you can kick. There was wisps. It's like there was no clear like what kind of platformer is this?
Well,
it is
Lost World's biggest problem is that it is so decentralized with what it wants to do, because it's literally just okay. It kind of reminds me of Recoded for Kingdom Hearts. Like, okay, we have all these ideas. Let's just do, okay, we're going to do this idea. We're going to do this idea. We're going to do this idea. And they never flesh those ideas out into full concepts. And it just feels so disjointed as a final product.
Yeah, and like, I think for this game, one, it is something new. Like, it's a new thing for Sonic. And two, the concept feels way more defined for something new. You know, it's like, this is Sonic in its open world. Those are the defining. That's the kind of game this is gonna be. Like I know there's an appealing concept for this game that is being told to us pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also something new for Sonic. And it's like, because I mean, even with Forces, it was also like that game was very much already stuff we know pretty much everything about that game, except for the Avatar, which was still very reminiscent of a lot of the things we already know about Sonic.
Yeah. Yeah, so like we've talked a little bit about like you know what the gameplay could be, the open world, the trailer and stuff like that. The environments themselves, oh my god, like this game looks beautiful. Like I love the detail in all these structures. The grass isn't on a 2D plane.
It isn't
like,
just it isn't just a checkerboard pattern.
It's not a checkerboard pattern. The big two shots in the trailer that just made my jaw hit the floor was the shot with the waterfall and like all the like the red flowers in the field, and then the shot of like the tower looking structure. Like the shading, like the lighting, the shading, the detail work, all of it is absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, I cannot wait for this game to explode on my Switch.
Oh my god, why this game is gonna look like dog shit on Switch.
Like if Forces was like a inferior version on Switch, bro, imagine this game.
Well, okay, that's something I'll actually defend Forces on a little bit. Is that like aside from the frame rate, it was still pretty like close to the other versions of the game.
Yeah,
but at the same
time,
but
it's also like. But now that this game is more ambitious, it's like,
yeah. But at that same time, they're like, yeah, it can run on Switch, but oh no, they didn't try for this very hard, did they?
It's like, I might as well just get it on PS4, honestly, or like any other system.
Yeah.
But it's also, yeah.
But like for this, like, yeah, I don't think anybody's gonna buy the Switch version if. I think
if you could get a PS4 version, I think for most, like, if you have options, I think you're not getting Switch specifically.
Yeah,
I think that's probably what's gonna happen. If you have a Switch, you're probably still gonna buy it.
I think most likely I'm either gonna go for the Steam version or I probably end up getting the PS4 version just so I can have a physical copy. But then I'll probably like once I get done with that, like okay, now I'm gonna go play it on Steam because thank God this game's gonna be on Steam and not the Epic Game Store.
Yeah, it's after you found out Final Fantasy VII Remake is on
Epic
Game Store.
Oh my God, I'm still tempted to buy it though. I'm still tempted.
Okay, yeah,
I'm still tempted.
You do you, sir.
Yeah,
but like, anyways,
I will do me with my Fortnites. But anyway.
To move on, the only thing we also have left to speculate on is the story for this game, which feels like to some Sonic fans is the only thing that matters in this series.
Yeah, like you'd think like there were like fans would be more concerned about like having a good game, and then you go on Twitter and everybody's like, oh, people want good stories for Sonic.
I'm sorry, guys.
What do you mean they want a dramatic? What do you mean
decades?
What do you mean they want a dramatic story for the Blue Rat?
It's been decades, y'all.
Yeah.
But no, but seriously, I do think if they are going to like, if they're going to spend time on cutscenes, they at least should be like entertaining.
Yeah.
And like decent, and like we don't know much about the story for Frontiers. What we do know is that Ian Flynn, a writer from the Sonic IDW comics, is going to be heading this story. Or like a writer for the story.
Thank God. Like, oh my God. Like, at the end of the day, I do not care about what kind of story Sonic has in the games, but I've just been so sick of this formula that they've been recycling since Colors, where it's just like this.
The writing style, like
the writing style, and just like the general plot structure, and like, and with Forces, with Lost World, the excuse me, the original writers could not do drama. When they tried, it was bad.
Yeah,
and,
it was.
And
they tried to do drama by like Forces.
And honestly, I think the worst story they've done is Generations, and not because it's a bad story, but because there's not really a story.
Yeah, I think it was honestly like it's weird. Like that's probably the most tolerable just because it's so minimal. Like it's such a nothing. It's such a nothing story, but it also doesn't like waste your time much as well. But like at the same time, like you could tell it's just like they were afraid to really do anything. So
yeah,
it's like when they tried to do drama with stuff like Forces and Lost World, it just became laughable.
Yeah,
and when you see other games like. I mean, I just finished Psychonauts 2, and that game's like writing is actually like phenomenal. Like it might, and when you see like other platformers, I guess like, even stuff like Rift Apart and like Psychonauts 2, other platformers that are actually like, it feels like their stories are actually like entertaining as well. Like they're just solid. People enjoy them. People like the characters. You know, it's like Sonic feels like behind the times. You know, like it feels like stories from like the 2000s, I guess, in terms of platformers, or just like. Oh, not even like that, because I feel like platformers back then, 3D were able to have like decent stories or stuff. Like it, I guess, kind of like a license feel to it, I guess.
Yeah.
In terms of the story.
Yeah, I think that's actually a really good way of describing it. Because when your games have more simplistic and not as good plots as like when your game's plot is worse than like fucking Mario, you know you fucked up.
Listen, Mario Odyssey story was art, okay? Listen, that climax was actually brilliant.
Well, that's what makes the whole thing.
Real talk, that ending cutscene was like the best thing ever for Mario Odyssey.
Absolutely, I agree 100%.
But yeah, in terms of like Ian Flynn writing, I've read at least like nearly 40 issues of Sonic IDW, and like I do enjoy it. Like I think it is solid, and I think. The story is definitely going to be different because there's a difference between writing a comic and a difference between writing a game, obviously. So like, I at least have more confidence that like the dialogue exchanges and such are going to be like more solid than like the type of writing style they had for Sonic Colors generation, where like it felt like overly kind of satirical and just kind of like we were trying to be funny.
But
and, like,
we're not funny.
Always landing, or we're not really that funny, or like trying to, it's like, I could expect stuff more natural now.
Well,
I feel like
my biggest thing with Ian Flynn coming in is like, okay, Ian Flynn like has shown through his writing in the comics, and I think he's done some stuff for Boom too. Like he understands these characters and their archetypes, and like he understands their personalities, and this guy knows how to write these characters well.
Yeah, like he can get something out of them, even if it's not like accurate to what people want. He can make something of them.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, like I think the biggest example is like what the IDW comics have done with Shadow, but that's not necessarily those comics' fault. It's more so Sega's intervention.
That's a mandate. Yeah, it's more of a mandate thing. And like Mandate's still cool. Mandate still could screw over like Ian for this project, but I feel like he could still get something, competent out of this.
I am very excited to see what gets done for this story.
Like I'm still not sure it's gonna be like anything like incredibly groundbreaking or anything, but I feel like it's probably still going to be like only 30 minutes of like total cutscenes. But I think it will at least be like decent enough, for that 30 minutes.
Yeah.
If you get what I'm talking about.
Yeah. But either way, I'm still really excited because I already know the story is going to be better than Forces and Lost World.
Mm-hmm.
So all I know is that, okay, I'll have a decent story at least.
or at least like something's like I can watch this and be fine.
Yeah. Like I think we'll be able to watch this and be
like no. I feel like there's gonna be less reason to like point out that's kind of dumb or just like that or complain about stuff.
Yeah.
And like it definitely does feel like Sega like listened to fans when it came to this, you know. Because like people have been wanting it for a while, but like even that, like for right now though, we still know very little about what the story is. All we know is that there's some giant titan again.
Yeah, and because like we have this mysterious voice that's talking to Sonic as he's going throughout this world, and from like leaks and apparently from the subtitles on the Xbox version of the trailer, it's implied that the mysterious voice is Amy.
Yeah, that is possible. Like, people also remember the leaks, like, talking about how it's, like, some sort of ghost girl or something like that.
Yeah.
So, like, I kind of wanted, a part of me is interested, like, in a new character, just because I feel like Ian, like, I liked the writing for, like, the IDW comics the best when it was set on new characters, because it was such a fresh start, and they could do creative things with that without the feeling like there were major mandates behind that.
Yeah.
But who knows what it is? We'll find out eventually.
Yeah, like, if it had to come down to it being a new character or Amy, I would rather it be a new character. But at the same time, I would be perfectly fine with it being Amy.
Yeah, it's like, we'll have to find out. We'll have to wait and see for that one.
Yeah.
But I guess the most exciting thing for the story is, like, they seem to be going back to some, like, ancient ruins type of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sonic has done that in a while.
Yeah, so
like.
the place that Sonic is exploring is, let me see if I can.
Something Fall Islands. I forgot.
Yeah.
Sea Fall Islands. I think.
See, let me. Okay. The Starfall Islands.
Yeah, Starfall Islands. Yeah. And we got into the kaiju again, finally.
Kaiju! Oh my god, I have wanted a god of destruction back in Sonic the Hedgehog for so fucking long. Oh my god.
Regardless of your opinions of each of the games that had them, let's be real, Sonic fighting a giant god or something like that was honestly cool as hell. Let's be real.
like even for the shitty games, like for like, okay, I'm not saying Unleashed is shitty. I have my own opinions on Unleashed, but like games like Unleashed, 06, Venture 1, Venture 2 had like these
giant monsters.
Giant powerful gods of destruction. And sure, each game ended with a supersonic boss fight. Sure. But it's still so fucking cool.
It's cool watching this little, like, freaking porcupine go toe-to-toe with these giant-ass gods, you know? It's like, it's cool. Like, alright, how is Sonic gonna destroy this one? It's like this weird, it's kind of like with Kirby, you know?
Yeah, it's kind of, yeah, it is kind of like with Kirby, yeah.
And Kirby's kept up those hell spawns, you know? He's still chugging along with them.
Yeah. And like it's something that I've missed since Generations, because Generations was the last game to make the Chaos Emeralds important, and most likely the Chaos Emeralds are going to be in this game.
Yeah,
at least I hope.
And like in Generations, they felt like very much like a side thing, so they just kind of collected them.
Yeah, they kind of collected them. And it's like, oh, they're here. Yeah, sure. Let's
take them. Oh look, we got Supersonic now.
Yeah,
beat up the boss.
Yeah, and like for Lost World, I can kind of understand like why they don't do Supersonic, because it's just Eggman. At this point, Sonic's gotten strong enough to where he doesn't need the emeralds for Eggman. But then for Forces, like, going up against Eggman with the Phantom Ruby, which is, like, really, really fucking powerful, and they just bullshit their excuse, like, oh, the power of friendship's gonna... Like, come on, man. Like, just use the emeralds. It's fine.
Like, I love watching Sonic take on new threats, just because I think Sonic's, like, inherent, like, abilities are fun to watch go against, like, different kinds of enemies besides just robots as well.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm curious to see, like, how are we gonna make him go toe-to-toe with this giant thing that towers over him?
Yeah. Now, the big question is, like, is this our... I don't think this is our endgame boss, obviously.
No. What if it's, like, our first boss?
Oh, my god. If this is the first boss, holy
like,
shit, we are in for some good shit.
Like, what if it's, like, the first boss of Mario Galaxy, you know, you gotta climb up the whole thing.
Like Mega Link, yeah.
Yeah, or something, like, but instead, this time, you're running up the whole thing until you can hit it in the head. That would be actually sick.
You know what would be scary as shit? If that robot is kind of like this game's version of, like, the Guardians from Breath of the Wild.
Oh,
and just
you see that shit run.
Yeah, you just run, get the fuck out.
At least you can run in this game now.
yeah, like oh my god, like Guardian attacks in the original in Breath of the Wild were like some of the, like it was the most scary shit. So maybe for Frontiers you could have like, you know, you have these overworld bosses that you could fight, and you'll be able to defeat them a bit easier, like the new abilities that you get from maybe like some of the main bosses somewhere else on the map. How are they going to handle bosses? Like, do you think they're going to do like Breath of the Wild, where like, oh yeah, we have random overworld bosses over here, but if you go to this specific area, this specific area, this specific area, you're going to fight this boss and get this ability, or fight this boss, get this item to do this? Like, what do you think?
Yeah, it's always been kind of hard for, like, it feels like Sonic to do bosses a lot of times, just because the inherent ring system was what makes it like really easy to take hits. And I think the boost worm like kind of got screwed over as well, because Sonic was all about moving. So like any boss where you had to stay still in like a set arena was very bland. And like a lot of the bosses where you were running also felt pretty samey as well. So with this new gameplay style, I think they could, hopefully they could try some new types of bosses, if it's not just moving forward all the time and actually exploring. And I think I would appreciate if they actually rework how the ring system works in this game, if it's going to be open world.
Yeah. Like I don't know. Maybe we can finally move past the whole rings being like the one-hit protection thing. Maybe they could. You know what I would kind of be okay with them doing? You know how in HD Unleashed for Supersonic you collected rings and that filled up your health meter?
Yeah, I could see that.
I could see that, and maybe them still having like a shield mechanic and stuff like that. But I think for an open world game, you can have rings. They need to put importance on rings. Like they need to give rings more of a prominent, because I'm gonna start bitching about it again. Forces got rid of the life systems. What was the point of collecting rings? Just for the one hit system? Then why does the game give you like 300 at a time?
Yeah, it's like I appreciate them getting rid of lives, because honestly, like that's still a progressive thing to do.
It is progressive,
but it's like they kind of hit like a wall. It's like, well, this is kind of like it was a one step forward, and it's like they got rid of this at least inherent bonus that came with lives.
Yeah, and like in the previous boost games, like rings also refilled your boost meter, so that also gave them use beyond just being that one hit protection. And in Unleashed, they were used as currency, so it was. You were able to be incentivized to pick up as many rings as you possibly could. But for Forces, like the only thing that fills up the boost meter is defeating some enemies and the Whiz capsules. Other than that, the rings were pretty much worthless. Yeah. So I think it's about time that we rework the ring system a little bit. Yeah. Give it a health bar, I think.
Yeah, because I think like it feels like rings were made in the first place because to alleviate the pains of like getting blindsided by enemies when you're going so fast.
Yeah.
Like, so, like, at least you can always just take hits without much punishment.
Mm-hmm.
I think for this game, because it's going to be open world, because it's going to likely have less of that problem of, like, running into things that you didn't expect, I think they could probably rework the system now to a more normal health bar, and I think people will be okay with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
But,
let's see. So, yeah, I mean... Well, I guess we can talk about this Titan a little bit. So, like,
I think we did talk about it enough already.
Yeah. Yes.
I think just like the last question is, do you think this is? How do you feel about this as a direction for Sonic?
I think this is the direction that Sonic needs. Quite frankly, I think just going in his own direction, and like, yeah, sure, he's going for open world, and I know a lot of series are going for open world. But they're doing open world for a series that would make sense to go to open world. I think Sonic is going to fit very well into an open world, and we'll see what happens with the execution. But I think just in general, this is a very good direction for him to go in. It looks like from the environments that they've built, and with how, with some comments from Izuka, with him saying like, yeah, this is gonna be our next like big leap for the series. We're going to be evolving, like, we're going to have an evolved gameplay experience. Longtime fans and action-adventure enthusiasts are going to love this game. and like we're created a all new style of gameplay. People are gonna be able to explore all these expansive landscapes with his new abilities and his speed. He's talking about it like he's genuinely excited about it. And like you go back and you look at Forces, and they're like, "Yeah, we went back for the boost formula because that's what everybody liked, and everybody wants custom characters, so here you go." But what here it sounds like he's genuinely excited, and
it feels weird because I'm excited too now for Sonic.
Yeah,
again.
yeah, it's weird, right? It feels so weird to be excited for Sonic again.
Yeah, it's like after so many years of just like waiting afterwards for Forces, and after Forces, and like Mania 2 isn't happening at this point. I think that's safe to say.
Yeah, I think Mania 2 is just kind of.
But now I think people were like, "All right, now we have nothing to look forward to." But I feel like after these two trailers, it's just like, I'm interested. Like,
yeah, like
I'm still a Sonic fan. I'm not leaving this train anytime soon, as long as I'm alive.
Yeah, you got me. Like you hooked me. Now you got to reel me in.
Yeah,
you got to get that catch
for like Sonic Frontier specifically.
For Frontier specifically, because we already know the movie's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, it's going to be at least solid.
Yeah,
I think high hopes are already high.
Yeah, hopes are high. I'm very, very cautiously optimistic for okay, not cautiously optimistic. I am very excited, but I also have my reservations because when Forces was being teased, I was extremely excited about it because it was the new Boost game, and I love the Boost formula, and it's going to be Generations 2. I finished and the night that I got it, I finished it in 3 hours, and I was like, wow, this sucked.
Yeah, I think like this has reason enough to be excited again because it is actually something different. It's like you never know now.
Yeah, and
like if it was just another Boost game, I think expectations would be a lot lower. But I think because it is a new thing again, it's like, all right, hopes are high again. They got us in again. It's just when I thought it was out, they pull me back in.
Yeah, and I really hope that this game has a lot of replay value. Because if you're going for open world, like this is going to be a big world, and this is going to be the first Sonic game in years that will probably be more than 4 hours long. Mm-hmm. At least I hope. I hope to God.
It's probably going to be like at least 8 hours. Like, I mean, just going by 3D platformer standards.
Yeah, I mean, even if it was 8 hours, like,
that'd be fine.
As long as it's more than 4. Because every game since like Colors has been more than 4 hours.
It's been about 4 hours. Many Sonic games have been mini short. A lot of Sonic games.
Yeah, and games like Mania, sure, I'll accept that it can be short.
A 2D game, $20.
It's 2D game, $20, but $40 for 3D budget game, and it's only in some ways it could probably be even shorter than your 2D game for $20. Then that's when you know you got a little bit of a problem.
Yeah, but like, anyways. Sonic Movie 2 looks awesome. Sonic Frontiers excited. It's like it's cool. Sonic is back, baby.
Let's do. Oh yeah, hell yeah, baby.
The Hedgehog returns.
The blue fucker's back.
Yeah, and like about wraps up this discussion. I guess just throw a bone to Tevy. Tevy, plug your stuff right now.
All right, so yeah, if you guys want to hear more of my dumbass, you can come follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/TevyBear. You can also follow me on Twitter at TevyBear. I have ED on my streams. We have a lot of fun. If you just want to hear a bunch of douchebags like talk about stuff and play games, you can head over, give us a follow. We're actually going to be starting a Classic Sonic Marathon in a few weeks, so tune in for that if you want to see more of the blue guy. And and thank you so much, ED, for having me on here. I really appreciate it.
No problem. This is a lot of fun to do.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and that about wraps it up. If you made it to the end of this video, thanks, I guess. I have other videos already made. If you've watched it, I'm probably putting them on screen right here. Subscribe if you like this at all. Comment, do you like Sonic, yes or no, in the comments.
Also comment what your favorite shade of blue for Sonic is.
Yes, that is the most important thing. Do that, okay? Alright, have a good day, y'all.
Have a good night, everybody.